A few hours ago, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation held another briefing for journalists. During this briefing, representatives of the Russian Defense Ministry briefly described the current situation in the Special Military Operations Zone. Furthermore, the Russian Ministry of Defense also stated that on March 27, 2025, the Ukrainian Air Force lost another combat plane. Simultaneously, following the old tradition, the Russian military once again refrained from disclosing the details of what occurred in the Special Military Operations Zone, providing only a statement of fact. The Russian Defense Ministry did not even name the exact location where this enemy aircraft was destroyed. The Russian military only stated that the plane was shot down by an air defense system. Fortunately, thanks to numerous sources in the Russian Defense Ministry, influential Russian military experts, and Telegram channels, the public regularly receives more detailed information about the Ukrainian Army's losses in the Special Military Operations Zone. So, as it turned out, on March 27, the Ukrainian Air Force lost another MiG-29. Sources in the Russian military department said that this fighter jet was shot down in Pokrovsk direction of the front, using the air defense system S-400 Triumph. It is noteworthy that, commenting on the destruction of the Ukrainian fighter, Russian Telegram channels stated that the Ukrainian Air Force had lost another piano, which means the death of the pilot. Russian Telegram channels began using this phrase after Ukrainian pilots, imitating British pilots of World War II, started burning pianos, in memory of their fallen comrades. Reports indicate that since the beginning of 2024, Ukrainian pilots have burned 15 pianos. In total, over the past 10 months, the Ukrainian Air Force has lost 30 combat planes in the Special Military Operations Zone. There are also American F-16 fighter jets among these combat planes. At the same time, it is noted that all these Ukrainian and American fighter jets were either shot down by Russian air defense systems, or destroyed by such Russian fighters as Su-35S and Su-57M. It is also worth noting that even Western experts and analysts say that over the past 12 months, the effectiveness of Russian air defense systems has increased significantly in the Special Military Operations Zone. This is largely because the Russian aerospace forces and air defense forces have begun to use new tactics. As a result, even Ukrainian fighter jets, flying at low altitude, can no longer escape from Russian surface-to-air missiles. Russian air defense systems can now shoot down even enemy fighter jets, flying at an altitude of 15 meters. In many ways, this became possible after Russian military engineers have managed to combine the latest Su-35S fighters and S-400 air defense systems into a single organism. The fact is that Russian engineers have installed the world's most powerful active electronically scanned array radar system on the Su-35S fighter jet, capable of simultaneously capturing 30 targets at a distance of 400 kilometers. In particular, we are talking about Advanced Active Electronically Scanned Array Radar, NO-35 Urbis, with a monopulse system in the X-range. As a result, Russian S-400 air defense systems got the opportunity to destroy enemy targets flying even at ultra-low altitudes, beyond the horizon. Now, the Su-35S fighters have become additional eyes and ears for the Russian S-400 air defense systems, significantly increasing the capabilities of the entire Russian air defense. However, if you think that this is the end of the achievements of Russian engineers, you are deeply mistaken. In August 2023, it became known that Russian engineers had installed the latest active electronically scanned array radar, Belka NO-36, on the fifth-generation fighter jet Su-57. This system allows Russian Su-57 fighter jets to work in tandem with the fifth-generation air defense system S-500 Prometheus. Even though the main characteristics of this latest system are strictly classified, it is reliably known that the Belka NO-36 is capable of simultaneously capturing 62 aerial targets at a distance of 600 kilometers. It is noteworthy that no other NATO country, including the United States, has such systems. During combat missions, NATO fighter jets always flew at extremely low altitudes. The NATO pilots were well aware that the radars of the Russian air defense systems were not able to detect targets flying at such a low altitude, especially beyond the horizon. However, now, with the introduction of the world's most powerful active electronically scanned array radars, NO-35 Urbus and Belka NO-36, allowed the Russians to use air defense systems and combat aviation as a single organism, as a result of which the situation has changed dramatically. Unfortunately for the Ukrainian Army and NATO forces, on March 19, 2025, the American fighter jet F-16 learned the hard way that flying at extremely low altitudes is no longer effective against Russian air defense systems. So, a few hours ago, the honored military pilot of the Russian Federation, Major General Vladimir Popov, confirmed that it was the Su-35S, together with the S-400 air defense system, that were the main culprits in the destruction of an American fighter jet over the SUMY region. In addition, the Russian general also provided details of this incident. As it turned out, on that day, an American F-16 fighter took off from the Vasilkovka military airfield, southwest of Kiev, and headed at low altitude towards the SUMY region, to provide air support to the Ukrainian MiG-29. Being at a low altitude, the pilot of the American fighter jet was sure that he was out of sight of the Russian air defense systems. However, the F-16 pilot did not even suspect that his fighter had already been targeted by the Russian Su-35S, which was in the airspace of Belarus. As it turned out, it was the Russian fighter jet that aimed missiles of the S-400 system at the American combat plane. This attack turned out to be so fast that the pilot did not even have time to eject. As it turned out, the deceased pilot was a U.S. citizen with Ukrainian roots. Reports indicate that this pilot voluntarily joined the ranks of the Ukrainian Air Force and wore a military uniform of this country. According to the Russian general, since August 2024, the Ukrainian Army and NATO forces have lost 5 units of F-16 fighter jets. At the same time, it is worth noting that amid numerous failures of the F-16 fighters in the skies over Ukraine, the United States refused to supply Kiev with components for American combat planes, including aviation versions of electronic warfare systems. Many experts expressed confidence that Washington did this to preserve the reputation of the F-16 and justify the loss of such a large number of American fighter jets in this Eastern European country.